Hi guys and welcome to my channel and welcome to another new series. Today I'm going to be watching the very first episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now this is a show I've wanted to revisit for years. I've watched them all when they were on years ago on television on, I want to say Nickelodeon. The show started in like 1992 and then I think it went on and off for a couple of years, a couple of times. I know there's been a revival recently which I haven't seen. I've only ever seen the odd episodes. But it's been so many years since I've watched most of them. And I've got to say, between this show and Goosebumps, they really did start my love for horror and anthology shows and sci-fi elements, twist endings, all that kind of stuff I got from these kind of TV shows and the book series that went along with them. But I always remember Are You Afraid of the Dark being the scary one of the two compared to Goosebumps. Goosebumps I love, but that was kind of cheesier at times. And I'm not saying Are You Afraid of the Dark doesn't have cheesy moments, but I always remember it being the scary alternative. That was the creepy one. That was one that always freaked me out more. So yeah, I hope you're okay with me watching a show that I've seen before. Like I say, there's a couple that I've seen more recent times, but the majority of them I've watched when I was very young. And looking at the dates they were aired, they'll probably be over 20 years ago because I'm old. So I hope you enjoy this journey. Please let me know if you enjoy this series and what your favourite episodes are. So let's jump into episode 1 of Are You Afraid of the Dark? For those who've never seen it, Are You Afraid of the Dark is an anthology children's horror series back from the 90s, or there are some more recent ones. Each episode is a completely different story, but they're all linked together by this group of kids called the Midnight Society, who gather and tell these tales. So one of the things that I'm thinking of doing for this watch through is making a note each time of who tells the story and what the story is, because I know what we'll learn as we go along the series is there's certain characters tell certain types of stories. So whilst at the end of each series I'll probably do my favourite to my least favourite, or in some order. I'd like to also take a look at different characters and who tells better stories in my opinion. So let's just jump into the episode. I'm just going to let the opening titles run because in my opinion this is the best opening title sequence of pretty much any TV show. One of my favourites of all time. Do you know how much that freaked me out as a kid? How scary the opening titles were. Jeez, it's not like the upbeat Goosebumps one. I used to really want to be a part of this group.
The Midnight Society. Separately, we're very different. We like different things.
So he's like the smart one, the
we go to
nerdy
different
one.
Schools, and we have different friends.
She was always like the feisty
But one
rebel.
thing draws us together. The dark.
He was like the younger,
Each
annoying
week,
brother, I
we
think.
gather around this fire to share our fears and our strange and scary tales.
He's there.
It's what got us together.
God,
And
memories
it's
of
what
these
keeps
people.
bringing us back. This is a warning to all who join us. You're going to leave the comfort of the light and step into the world of the supernatural.
Hey, watch it, man.
Sorry. More.
Sorry.
You're here to be
Very
considered as a new
Canadian.
member of the Midnight Society.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only way you can become
Story?
part of this
Who said that?
Midnight Society is
To be
you
a
have
member,
to,
tell us a scary tale. Then
yeah.
we vote. And it
Tell
has
them
to
this
be
tale.
unanimous, or you're not in.
and they vote on if it's scary enough
ready.
to join the group.
Are you guys
And
ready?
so this very first episode obviously starts with Frank, who I didn't realise wasn't a member from the start. Spoiler alert, he gets in.
Just say the word.
I used to love this.
Anytime.
Okay, let's do it. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of the Phantom Cab.
Okay, The Tale of the Phantom Cab. The main memory I have of this episode, if I remember it correctly, is that the main character, one of the two, this young one, not him,
Denny and Buzz
the other
were
one,
brothers. Denny
is
was big,
irritating
strong,
as
and smart.
fuck.
Buzz was well.
This is strange.
We're lost, aren't we? I know how to plot a course. You never trust me.
It's a very
I did
typical,
trust you.
like,
You got us lost, cheeseball.
big brother hates a
We're
young
not
brother
lost.
dynamic.
You are such a loser.
I'm not a loser. And we're not lost. Look, there's the ridge we came up on. We can circle back and take the red trail.
His voice is quite irritating, but it sounds like it's all got an ADR.
Watch the edge.
Um,
Whoa!
To those who don't know, that means like recorded after the fact. So kind of like dubbed, sort of.
Grab me, you jerk!
There's going to be a lot of
Save the compass.
fun 90s haircuts, names, clothes in this series, and I cannot wait. It's so good. Honestly, if you've never watched You Afraid of the Dark, go watch this episode first. They're all on YouTube.
But nighttime was coming on fast.
And then come back and watch
And I was
this.
getting
It doesn't make sense.
That the way you always hold it?
Yeah, so?
Your belt buckle, genius. It's metal.
Oh.
It's always gonna point to it because it's a magnet. Yeah, uh-oh. We've been going the wrong way all day.
To be fair, if they were getting lost for hours,
Slow down!
he should have taken the compass off his brother a long time ago. Oh, the parents shouldn't let them, you know, get lost in the woods. Obviously, I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but...
I should pound you!
Oh. Now, this is a kid show.
Maybe it's a maniac killer in a hockey mask who's gonna slash us.
Yay, Jason reference. Don't trust someone you find wandering in the middle of the woods.
Hello? What have we here? Flynn's the name. So what are you doing up here? You lost too?
You follow me, and I'll lead you to someone who can help you.
You can tell this is filmed in the 90s because in today's age, you'd never have a guy, an older man, in the middle of the woods, put his arm around two kids that got lost.
You got a better idea? What kind of a doctor lives in the woods?
Yeah, good question.
Boys, you'll see.
One you
By the
don't
way,
want to trust.
You guys thought I was joking, didn't you?
Who lives here? The Seven Dwarfs?
Why?
Well,
Don't
sometimes
go
the
in there.
price he charges is a little, steep.
So why don't you just tell us how? Yo,
Yeah, like I
Flynn,
said, this show for a kid
This is
show in the
creepy. Let's
90s
go.
to where?
was
We're
really
lost,
good at
remember?
just little creepy things that really set you on
You're not going in
edge,
there.
make you feel
What
uneasy.
else?
What's that?
Flynn, I know it's you. He's trying to scare us.
He's
Sounds
doing
like
a
Flynn.
good job. That can't be him, too.
Probably a raccoon.
That's no raccoon.
That's no
Danny,
raccoon.
what's going
Boys have made a very grave mistake.
Is it? Yeah.
I don't suppose either of you are any good at riddles.
Okay, so this guy is a recurring character in the show. He appears in, I presume it's all of this.
I think we have the wrong house.
Is it
Bye.
Frank? Is it? No, yeah,
Boys,
Frank.
boys, you've
Like,
made a
maybe it just appears in
mistake.
Frank's stories.
If you're at my
But he's,
door at this time of night, you've taken
he's
a
in a
wrong
few.
turn and lost you. Vink's the name. Dr. Vink.
Dr. Fink?
Vink.
Vink.
With a V.
With a ver.
Who wants tea?
He says that every time, because from what I can remember, they always get his name wrong. So his name's Dr. Vink, but they call him Fink, and he's like, Dr. Vink with a ver.
Natural science.
That sounds really sad, I know, but
Here, in case you're wondering.
This guy's a nutbag.
Behold, a true wonder of nature. The brain of a wild boar.
ew.
I've discovered that long after the body dies, the brain still gives off electric impulses. Can you imagine if that energy could be harnessed? And I am not a nutbag. We've only just begun.
No, I think we're done.
We play by my rules, or we don't play.
What do you
See,
want?
creepy, threatening doctor in the woods. Get out.
Here's the deal. I ask you a riddle, and if you solve it, you can call your parents.
This is a good riddle. See if you can work it out.
What is it that has no weight, can be seen by the naked eye, and if you put it in a barrel, it would make the barrel lighter?
It's quite a good answer. It's quite
It can be
ingenious.
seen by the naked
So
eye.
write down in the comments
And if
below
put in a barrel,
if you don't know what it is,
the barrel
what your guesses are.
So?
I don't know.
Had your chance and failed, like all the others.
Others? What others?
Follow it to the dirt road and wait. A taxi cab will pick you up.
A cab? In
A
the
phantom
woods?
cab.
Comes by every night. There is one way I suppose.
What? What's that?
You can leave me
I'm getting really
Specimen.
creepy.
A specimen?
Should be on a list vibes.
something like
Call the police.
this.
It's okay. If you never watched it before, yes, it's cheesy. There are some episodes that are genuinely scary as shit, but there's a lot of elements of it that are cheesy, but it's great. It's got such character to it.
Now,
No,
There is an answer. Have you worked it out yet?
maybe it can be solved.
Maybe you should all just lighten up and let me finish this story.
It's weird though, because like, normally throughout most of the series, from what I can remember, they never cut back to the
Danny and
main,
Buzz beat
the
feet
Midnight
back into the
Society.
woods.
They were in at the beginning.
All they
They,
wanted was to
they're
get
in at
as
the
far
end.
away from
But during the
Dr. Vink as
episode, they don't
possible.
cut back to them very often.
There's no cabs in the woods.
Don't get in the cab. What do you get in that cab?
Our parents will
I
pay
suppose
the
you wouldn't have
fare
much of
when
a
we get home.
choice, but don't know.
Don't worry.
It's Flynn.
I know you're good for it. Flynn! I figured I'd run into you guys again. Folks
He's looking
who,
very
can't answer
pale.
Dr. Vink's riddles. Happened to me around 40 years ago. Whoa, slow down. He offered me a big tip if I could solve the riddle. I couldn't, so he took a specimen from me.
What kind of specimen?
You didn't see
The
it in
hand.
his house? It's not what it is. It's what it was.
Oh! He took your hand?
40 years I've been bringing folks up to Dr. Vink's, hoping they can solve the riddle. But they don't, so they all end up here with me.
What happens to them?
Hey, Dr. Vink's needs his specimen. Didn't I tell you? Before the good doctor got his specimen, had myself a nasty little accident. Crashed into this big old tree. You might say, I sort of died!
Oh, this is so cheesy, but I love it.
Every night I have the same accident with a different fare. It's kind of a curse.
The bushes! They were ghosts!
Nobody can leave until
Oh,
someone
okay, that
solves
makes sense. So,
Dr. Vink's riddle.
all these kids have been dying over and over and over again. Do you think the police would want to get on that? Why would the parents let them go away
This is your fault.
and get lost
You
in the
said you could
woods
solve the riddle. Still got
in a
time.
forest where
We don't crash
for
right
40
away.
years,
30
every
seconds.
night, kids have gone missing?
Think.
Now I believe the parents are bad.
It's weightless, it can be seen by the naked eye, and it's put in a barrel. It'll make the barrel lighter. I can't think like this!
Wait till you see the explosion we're gonna make.
I got it! I know the answer!
What is it?
Last
It's weightless. You
chance.
can see it, and if you put it in a barrel, it'll make the barrel lighter.
Say it.
It's a hole! It's a hole in the barrel!
Here we go.
Wait. So yeah, the answer to the riddle is a hole. If you put a hole in the barrel, it's weightless. You can see it, and it makes the barrel lighter.
We broke the curse. We're saved.
Oh man, not again!
It's clearly a different car, you little idiot.
Your parents have been going nuts looking for
Okay,
you.
so
The whole town's in an uproar.
because the forest is killing
Come on,
people,
Gideon.
because 40 years of kids are dead in there somewhere, so no wonder the town's in uproar. Why haven't I picked up on this before?
Tell me something. How are you at riddles?
No one ever saw the phantom cab again.
Ho 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 ho.
And when the boys brought the police back to Dr. Vink's cottage, all that was left was an old stone foundation covered with weeds.
And now the vote. Thumbs up means Frank's in, thumbs down he's not. And it has to be unanimous.
You need to vote him in because you need a bad boy in the group.
David?
You got your nerds, you got your kind of your tomboy girl, you got your girly girl,
Betty
you got
Ann?
your siblings. You need your bad boy to really round out the Breakfast Club.
Kristen? Congratulations, Frank. Welcome to the Midnight Society.
Welcome, Frank.
Right.
I think these are our Midnight Society for a few years now. But I used to get really freaked out by this end music. I don't know why. Okay, so that was the very first episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of the Phantom Cab. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I'm going to do a little bit of review in a second. But I'm intrigued to know if you've never seen it before, and that's your first time watching it, or if you go back and watch it and then come to this review, what your thoughts are. Because it is quite cheesy, the first episode. There is little bits of it that are kind of like really cheesy acting and stuff, but it just, to me, it's fun. And I probably like it more because I know how scary the show gets at times. And so this is kind of a light-hearted way to ease you into the show. I think even episode 2, if I remember correctly, looking at the episode titles, is about a creepy clown, so tune in for that. And even from that, I remember that being quite as scary at times, just like really freaky things that happened. Back onto this episode. There's little bits on it that I probably would have never picked up on as a kid. So the fact that this guy said that he's been doing it for 40 years, taking kids every night to the doctor to solve his riddles. And when they don't solve the riddles, because they never have done, he crashes the car and the kids die. And the doctor's got new subjects for his experiments. But the fact that the parents of the 2 kids in the main story let them go alone in the woods where 40 years worth of kids have gone missing. Now I do start to really question the parents. It is quite a common trope in this kind of like children's horror genre to have parents that are just not great, or they don't listen, or they're not supportive, or they're just bad parents in general, or they're just missing, or the kids go and stay with another family member. It's quite a common trope, which you'll probably see quite a few times throughout the series and any of the series that I cover. Hi, this is Scott from the future. I'm just popping in because I'm editing the episode at the moment, and I realised I never actually reviewed the storyline. In this episode, I did really enjoy the relationship between the 2 brothers. As I mentioned earlier on, it's very generic in these kind of shows to have a 2-sibling relationship where there's like an older and a younger, usually 2 brothers, or an older brother and younger sister, or maybe there's 2 sisters, I don't know. And there's always the older one kind of is fed up of hanging around with the younger one, is sick of them being around, and the younger one's more of like a nuisance, a pest, just kind of gets on the nerves. So that's a very cliche relationship. But it's also fun to me. Maybe it's because I grew up in the 90s, but it really fills me with nostalgia when it's that kind of relationship. So I really did enjoy that between the 2 brothers, even though the little brother was kind of annoying. And he kept messing up with the compass, and he dropped the map in the water, and he fell off the edge of a bloody cliff. And overall, other than the fact that he did save their lives, I'll give him that. But the little brother was kind of annoying. I really enjoyed Dr. Fink. Obviously, it's the first appearance of Dr. Fink. But I found his character creepy, kind of because he's funny and quirky and weird, but then the actor just kind of switches it every now and again, and it's like quite dark tones. So I felt like as a main villain almost, he was quite fun for the first episode. Like he was menacing and we didn't really know where things were going to go. The whole riddle aspect was quite fun. I did have to cut some of it out from the episode just for time. So there was more riddles. If you want to go and watch the episode, there's at least one other riddle, I think, in there. And I wish I hadn't seen the episode before because I like guessing answers to riddles. But knowing the answer to the riddle, it was still fun to watch because it's a hard riddle, I think. I guess for tension, they had to guess it at the very last second as the car was about to crash into the tree. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to mention, because throughout the episode, I kept mentioning the fact that the whole experiment in the woods with the cab that crashes and kills people was killing kids for 40 years. It never mentions that. It only mentions that they're killing people for 40 years. So ignore the fact that I keep saying that kids die for 40 years. It's just people like Flynn. He died, presumably as an adult, at the same age that he is in the episode. And so people die for 40 years. It's still bad. It's still a forest where for 40 years people have been disappearing and dying, and the parents still let the kids wander off and go hiking in it. My point's still valid. It is wrong, but it's not just kids, it is everybody. But overall, the episode I think is fun. It's got comedy moments to it. It's got some creepy moments with the doctor. And it's got enough creepy little atmospheric moments to kind of really draw you in and kind of you want to know how they're going to get out of this. So I enjoy the flip and change between the comedy and the dark. So yeah, overall I really enjoyed the episode. Back to past me. If anyone's wondering who has been watching my channel, why I'm starting this show when I'm doing a very similar show with Creeped Out, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I'm having a lot of copyright issues with Creeped Out, so at the moment I can't upload any more of them. So I was hoping this would be able to take its place. But in terms of the episode, it's a fun way to introduce your main characters. So Frank kind of acts in some ways like the audience. So his experience with the Midnight Society is brand new. That's why we get introduced to them all, and why we learn that the process of how they hire new people, they have to tell a story and it has to be voted on. So Frank kind of acts like the gateway for the viewer. And his first story is fun. It's not a scary one, particularly, at least to me. But it's fun and it's interesting and a little cheesy, but I like it. So I'm intrigued to see what you guys think of it. Did you watch this when it was on in 1992? Did you watch it when you were a kid? Do you remember this episode at all? Please let me know if you're watching the series in the comments below. I really like to communicate with you guys, and I appreciate any comments I get. Unless they're really negative. If you're a You're Afraid of the Dark fan, and this is the first time in my channel, hi. My name is Scott. I hope you're well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. And I'll see you all in episode 2. Take care, guys.